Hello children, I am Shakthi, lecturer in accountancy in Shakthi PU College. Today we are going to discuss about accounting for not-for-profit organization. Not-for-profit organization, that means they are working not to earn profit but to provide service to the society. So in the name itself is the definition of NPO lies. Shortly we can call it as NPO. So we will see the meaning of non-profit organization. So what is the meaning? Organization which are formed to render social service and not to make profit. The organization which are to provide service and not to earn profit. So then think about the examples. What are the examples? Hospitals, schools, clubs, NGOs. These are coming under the NPOs. What are the features? Features of NPO are they are service oriented and they will not make any trading activities. So trading means buying of and selling of goods and services. But here there is no trading activities. Means they are not earning profit. Now such organizations are managed by managing committee elected by members. Members will be there. They will pay the subscription and they will become the member. So every year election will be held and they will appoint some managing committee. And the last one, membership will be done through subscription. If you want to become the member, you need to pay the subscription. These are the main features of non-profit organization. So let us see why need to maintain books of account. So first year we have discussed about cash book, journal, ledger, right? Why we have to maintain? To have a proper clarity of for what purpose the expenses are made, what are the sources of revenue, or how the company or organizations are receiving the money. So why we have to maintain the books of accounts? To avoid misappropriation of funds. See here, as there is no capital, no one is putting any money, so misappropriation of funds are common. To avoid such, books are to be maintained. Second is to keep a track on income and expenses. So what are the different sources of income? How much subscription received? How much donation received? What are the different donations received? So we should have proper clarity of that. To satisfy the legal requirement for receiving grant. This is very important. So especially in the case of school, colleges, the government will give sometimes the grant, right? So to get the grant, just like you will not get the grant, so your books should be maintained properly so as to fulfill the legal requirement. These are the reasons why the NPO should maintain the books of accounts. Now what are the books they normally usually maintain? Cash book, journal, register of members. So what is cash book? Cash book is a record of cash receipts and cash payments. So all the cash receipt and bank receipt will be recorded on the debit side and payments will be recorded on the credit side. So what is journal? Non-cash transactions. So purchased one furniture or any asset for credit. So where we will record? We will record it in the journal. So what is the next one? Register of members. So how many members joined in a year? How much subscription received? How much advance subscription received? And how much is outstanding? For that, to have a track on that, we need to maintain register of members. Means it is a register, just like your attendance register. Now, you should know very important two things. That is the receipt, which are capital receipt and revenue receipt. Basically, capital and revenue. If you know this capital and revenue, you can score this chapter easily. The weightage of this chapter is 15 marks. 12 mark 1, preparation of income and expenditure account and balance sheet, and 2 mark 1 question and 1 mark 1 question. So now, what are items? What are the items? Capital items and revenue items. You should know what are capital items and what are revenue items. It is very easy to remember. Capital items are which are there in your balance sheet. Revenue items are which are there in your last year trading and profit and loss account. Right? So now, what is capital receipt? See, receipt which are non-recurring nature. What do you mean by non-recurring? Means which are not happening again and again regularly. So normally these are huge amount donations. means specific donations. Life membership will be paid only once in a lifetime of a person. So they are coming rarely or irregularly. So these are known as capital receipts. See example, special donations, life membership fees. Special donation means donations for a particular purpose. Donation for the construction of building, this is the best example. Now what are the capital expenditure? See, capital receipt will be shown on the liability side of balance sheet, whereas capital expenditure, what are capital expenditure? Expenditure whose benefits available for more than 1 year. You are purchasing a furniture, you are investing in a bank. So the benefit you are getting for more than 1 year. The items which are shown on the asset side of balance sheet, they are known as capital expenditure. So this is liability side. So these are the asset side. Example, cost of fixed asset, land, building, machinery, furniture, investment, all these are coming under your capital expenditure. So now, what are revenue items? Revenue items are in the profit and loss account. So here in this chapter, it is not profit and loss, it is income and expenditure account. So in revenue item also, we have two types. One is revenue receipt, the another one is revenue expenditure. So what are revenue receipt? Normally, income generating receipt. Subscription is the main source of income of any non-profit organization. What is subscription? Subscription is the amount paid by a person to become a member. And now revenue receipt. What do you mean by revenue receipt? Receipt which are recurring nature, generally small in amount, not a huge amount, small amount. Subscription normally 200 per person, 500,000, whatever maybe, depends on the reputation of NPO also. So example, subscription, entrance fees, general donation, all these are coming. You should know two things. One are such incomes or such receipts are recurring in nature and small amount, not huge amount. Now next, what are revenue expenditure? Revenue expenditure. Expenditure whose benefit will exhaust within 1 year. Profit and loss account, debit side items, can you remember? Salary, wages, interest paid, rent, advertisement. These are the expenses. We can call it as expenses which are repetitive nature or regular in nature and small amount. Every month we will pay salary, every month we will pay rent, right? So these are coming under our revenue expenditure. So you should have a proper clarity about revenue items and capital items. Practical oriented question. They will ask, identify the following items into revenue or capital. Your job is just to write capital, just to write revenue. Take for example, donation. Donation is a revenue. If they are telling about building donation, it is capital. So you should know the difference between exactly capital and revenue items. So now next is meaning of some important items. When you are going to solve the sums related to income and expenditure account, you should have proper clarity about individual items. So what is the first one? That is capital fund. See children, capital is the amount invested by a proprietor when it comes to a sole trader, right? So when it comes to a partner, his part of capital. When it comes to the company, it is share capital. But NPO, as they are not doing any trading, it is not a capital, it is a capital fund. How will get the capital fund? Capital fund is the difference between your asset and liabilities. Suppose subscription received, we are investing into the bank, that is asset. That itself is capital fund. But you should know that proper definition. So capital fund, it consists of capitalized receipt, legacies, life membership fees, entrance fees, donation for the current year and excess of income over expenditure. So surplus of the year plus other receipt. So the difference between your asset and liabilities will be considered as capital fund. Please don't use just capital word, so your entire concept will be wrong. So you have to use the word capital fund when it comes to non-profit organization. So legacies. So what is legacies? Gift or donation received by NPO under a will on the death of a donor. The donor or the person who want to donate to the society, to the member after his death, is writing in his will that is known as legacy. It is not recurring nature, right? So it is non-recurring nature. Non-recurring nature are capital items. So as it is a receipt, it is capital received. So now next is endowment fund. So what is endowment fund? It's money or property given by way of gift by a donor. So it is not after the death. In his lifetime only he is donating either property or cash to the organization, which is endowment fund. Should have proper clarity about endowment fund and legacy. Legacy is basically according to the will of person, but it is endowment is not according to the will, before only is given. So honorarium. So you can remember this word easily. Honor. The payment is made to honor a person, that is known as honorarium. Suppose we are conducting one program, we are calling a person to address the gathering. So we need to give something, right? So that is coming under honorarium. So the meaning is payment made to a person for service and whatever may be the service. It may be a program, it may be addressing a gathering or whatever may be the cause. To what we have paid is honorarium. So normally if we have regular programs, so we'll pay regularly, right? So that is why it is revenue item, but it is an expense. So revenue expenditure. So entrance fees. This also you can remember very easily with the help of the name. Entrance, admission fee. So whenever a new member joins, he has to pay. So for NPO, members regularly will join, right? So that is why it is revenue nature. Fees received from members on the admission. So whenever new members are joining, they have to pay admission fees and then subscription. So admission fees is a revenue. This is also called as admission fee and entrance fee. So now next we will see some important items. Under that, next we have special fund. So what do you mean by special fund? Fund is an amount, right? So special fund is the amount for a particular purpose. Match fund. For what purpose this fund? To conduct the matches, to pay the, to give the price for whatever may be the expenses related to that will be borne by this particular fund. That is known as special fund. Now donation. You know donation? The amount or fund contributed by people. That is donation. There are two types of donation, special donation and general donation. So special donation is donation for a particular purpose. General means they will not tell for what purpose. That could be utilized for whatever may be the reason. Okay. So that is why this is your general donation is revenue receipt. Special donation is capital receipt will go to balance sheet liability side. So let us see receipt and payment account. Children, very important from the point of your examination. Practical oriented question they may ask, and you should know this concept clearly so that you can prepare income and expenditure account. So here also, what is receipt? We have received money. What is payment? We have paid. So payment is cash going out. Receipt is cash coming in. Debit side we will record all the receipt. Credit side we will record all the payment. Yes, receipts and payment account. So it is prepared at the end of accounting year. At the end of accounting year on the basis of cash receipts and cash payments, right? So cash receipts and cash payment. How much cash received during the year? How much cash payment made during the year for different purpose? On the basis of cash book. Cash book will be maintained, right? So what are the features? Again, two more question. Features are it is a real account and it is maintained under cash system and it is includes both capital and revenue items. So what is capital and what is revenue we have discussed, right? So in receipt and payment account records both capital and revenue received, right? So from the receipt and payment account you need to prepare income and expenditure account. So this is like your exactly like your cash book. All receipt on the debit side, all the payments on the credit side. So now we will see the format of receipt and payment account. There is no separate column for cash and bank. We are writing all the cash and bank transaction in the amount column. So hope this is same as that of our cash book. First year we have discussed, right? So two balance brought out, that is opening balance at the beginning of the year. So then subscription received during the year, donations received during the year, sale of old newspapers received amount, interest received. Suppose the NPO has deposited in the form of fixed depositors. So interest you will receive regularly. So that will be coming. So next, locker rent, legacies, we already discussed, life membership, yes, entrance fee. So all these are receipts, right? So here we will write the amount in the amount column, and wages and salaries paid during the year, and rent, insurance, printing and stationery, honorarium, upkeep of ground, purchase of fixed asset, investment, balance carried out. So if you observe this properly, you can make out. So what are the revenue items and what are the capital items? So subscription, revenue item, right? So this is donation. So donation is, without this, it is revenue item. Sale of old newspaper, again revenue item. Interest received, revenue item. Locker rent, revenue item. Legacies, what is legacies? Given by a donor after his death according to the will. So it is non-recurring nature. So it is capital item. Life membership is again capital item. Entrance fees, a revenue item. Now if you check the payments, so here also you could make out there are both capital and revenue items. See, wages and salaries, revenue items, right? So wages and salaries, revenue item. Rent, revenue items. So next, printing and stationery revenue. Honorarium, yes, revenue. Upkeep of ground means maintenance, expenses paid to for the maintenance of ground. Purchase of fixed asset, it's not a revenue item, it's a capital item. Investment, capital item, yes. Now balance carried out, it is cash in and cash at bank, it will go to your balance sheet. Now with the help of this, you have to prepare income and expenditure account and balance sheet. So all your revenue items will go to income and expenditure account, and capital item goes to your balance sheet. Very easy concept, right? You can score. So now the closing balance, where it will go? It will go to balance sheet. Opening balance will go to opening balance sheet. So now coming to the practical oriented question. Your question may be, prepare receipt and payment account with 5 imaginary figure. So you have the question in your question paper. What you have to do? Write some imaginary amount. You can write cash in hand 5,000. Fine. So cash at bank 3,000. Like that you can fill at 5 items and find out the closing balance. That's all. This 5 marks question you can score easily. Fine. So here you should know the items which are revenue and capital in nature. Fine. Now we will move to the income and expenditure account. So this is a main question and very important question. You can score this. Income and expenditure account, it is same as that of your profit and loss account, but as they are not earning any profit and NPOs are not doing any profit oriented business, trading business, we are preparing income and expenditure account. So then what is the difference between expenses and income? That is your surplus, not profit. So all the expenses on the debit side, all the incomes on the credit side. Receipt side amount on the credit side, payment side amount on the debit side. Cross, you can remember like that also. So now we'll see what is income and expenditure account. It is summary of income and expenses of NPO prepared at the end of the financial year. So what are the features? It is a nominal account. That means it will record only income and expenditure account, only revenue items. So only revenue items will be recorded. Non-cash items also entered. Take for example depreciation. The NPO is having a asset building, so we need to charge depreciation, right? So it is a non-cash item. There are many such examples. Now it is prepared under accrual system. Means both cash and credit system. Credit transactions also will be recorded. Now what is the format? All the expenses on the debit side, incomes on the credit side. Right? So few examples which I have written here: wages and salaries, rent, insurance, printing and stationery, honorarium, upkeep of ground, surplus. What is surplus? The differences between your income and expenditure, or excess of income over expenditure. Suppose our income is 1 lakh here and the expenses are 80,000. So our surplus is 20,000. Right? So income is total is 1 lakh and all the expenses together 80,000. So the excess of income over expenditure 20,000 here. So it is same how we found the profit first year. Now on the income side or the credit side, income by subscription, by interest received, by locker rent, by sale of old newspaper, by entrance fees, whatever may be the revenue received which are given in your question. Debit side, all expenses. The common mistakes are about donation. If just donation is given, that is your revenue item. Special donation, building donation, or for any other donation, it will go to balance sheet, other things will come in. Now, then what about deficit? Suppose your expenses are more, expenditure are more than your income. It will be deficit, loss in trading business, right? So you need to record only revenue item, revenue expenditure and revenue incomes. The main source of income is your subscription, fine. So now next, so here if adjustments will be given after your income and expenditure account. So according to the adjustment we have to change. Take for example subscription given in the question 10,000. They're telling subscription outstanding during the year, subscription received in advance. So we need to focus while preparing income and expenditure account only which is related to the current year. So previous year minus, next year also minus. We are focusing and preparing income and expenditure account of the current year only. So numericals, extra sums we will discuss in the coming class. Thank you.